After uncertainty about its postseason hopes, the road to the NCAA tournament looks a little bit more promising for IU, winning 5 of its last 6. However, Indiana was once again unable to mitigate a dominant aspect of a dominant program. Indiana has played these early neutral site games in the not-too-distant past, but the reality is, so far under DeVries, IU seems to be playing with a purpose, a mantra that Indiana hopes will be its feared identity. The late Big Ten non-conference slate is a perfect opportunity for all 18 teams to get right before the first week of January. Post-game, Malik Renew and Mackenzie Mbako were asked if there are any concerns with the Hoosiers' current form. There were no concerns, but Mike Woodson, on the other hand, says otherwise. Big one here at Simon Scott Assembly Hall for the Hoosier Network. I'm Ryan Canfield. Indiana comes in tonight limping on a 3-game skid after an embarrassing loss to Northwestern. Michigan State, they come in red hot, fresh off a win at Mackey Arena. Indiana playing today for their NCAA tournament lives. The keys to winning today, stopping Jeremy Fears. How do they do that? With Connor Enright. Lamar Wilkerson needs to be hot. Tucker DeVries needs to add some sort of supplemental scoring. We'll have more after the game for the Hoosier Network. We'll talk soon. To the diamond we go as the Tigers try to get out of their worst slump to date in this 2025 campaign. Losing 7 of their last 8, they try to pick up the pieces once again in Pittsburgh. But as we've seen all too often in July, Detroit couldn't get out of their own way with some costly errors at PNC Park. Let's go field level to Pittsburgh for the highlights. Pick it up in the bottom of the third with a man on. Key Brian Hayes is going to chop a ball over to Zach McKinstry. He'll fire it over to Spencer Torkelson. But Torque can't quite corral it. Then look at the heads-up play by O'Neal Cruz at third. He'd score and make it 3-0. Next inning, the errors would continue for Detroit. McKinstry flies out for a would-be sac fly to get the Tigers on the board. But you can see on the replay, Wencel Perez misses the bag on the tag home. Pittsburgh challenges, he's ruled out. But the Detroit offense wouldn't go down without a fight, thanks to this 3-run home run from Jake Rogers. However, the defense gave the Pirates more breathing room as Pittsburgh added 3 more runs, and this 2-run blast from Jahmai Jones would not be enough. Tigers continue their losing skid and drop this one 8-5. For the first time since 2018, the Pistons were not only without a lottery pick, but without a first-round pick at all in this summer's draft. But Summer League still rolls on as the team anticipates the arrival of Chaz Lanier and the expected year 2 jump for Ron Holland II. Detroit took on the Rockets in Vegas. Let's get out to Thomas and Max Center. Pick it up in the first quarter. Watch this inbound pass from Dennis Jenkins. Gets it right back from Ron Holland for the corner triple. Then Lanier started to heat up, and he had it going from beyond the arc. From the left wing, here is one of his 4 triples en route to a 14-point performance. In the third, check out the hustle here from Holland. Splits the defenders, snagging a turnover and a nice finish. This summer, Holland has looked to improve his offensive arsenal. He's done that, and he won't stop there with this triple from Bryce Williams with the assist from Holland. Pistons win it 98-83. On November 5th, 2025, at precisely 7:55 p.m., Darren DeVries took the floor for his first regular season game as the head coach of one of college hoop's most storied programs, marking a new era of Indiana Hoosier basketball.
Tonight was pretty special. It, to be, a regular season game certainly has, different feel and different vibe, and it's just one of these special places that there's not much like it in college basketball, and it's certainly a privilege for us to be out there.
To begin the season, Alabama A&M stood in the Hoosiers' way of a 1-0 start. IU rose to the occasion with a 98-51 blowout win. The first half belonged to Sam Houston transfer Lamar Wilkerson, whose first half performance broke the game open for Indiana with 15 points on 4 3-point makes in the opening frame. The driving force in a 36-point halftime lead.
We got a team bunch of shooters, so shots going in, that's a good thing. It carries over the defensive end, and we was getting out running transition. That creates open threes. So
the second half belonged to Davidson transfer Reed Bailey, who put on a show with multiple highlight slams, ending his Hoosier debut with 21 points.
We're all new here, and we just wanted to come out and be able to show what we can do. And then also for Coach DeVries, it feels great to get him that first one because, I feel like it's only just a start for him and what he's going to do here. A player like Wilkerson perfectly fits the style of play Indiana fans will see during the DeVries era. As one of the best long-range shooters a season ago, performances like this should be on tap all season. And down low, Indiana will profit heavily from a stretch 5 like Reed Bailey, draped with both toughness
and versatile attributes.
We got a group that has like a really good IQ and feel, and for a group that hasn't been together very long, they really play well off of each other. They're just out there playing, and that's I think it's allowed them to play fast and really trust their instincts.
The night finished with Tucker DeVries celebrating his newest accolade, recording his 2,000th point. While Wednesday was a fun welcome for this new Indiana team and staff, the temperature kicks up a notch when IU takes on Marquette this Sunday at the United Center in Chicago. But for now, at Simon Scott Assembly Hall, for the Hoosier Network, I'm Ryan Canfield. Basketball can create friendships that eventually become unbreakable bonds. They didn't know it at the time, but when Xavier Tillman and Christian Rodriguez faced off for the first time in the 4th grade, a lifelong friendship was born.
He was bigger than everybody, so I was like, dang, that's a big kid.
His dad every Friday used to take him to get these fire cuts with like designs in this area. He had a buzz cut. He looked clean. I'm like, dang. And then he had some game 2 scrappy guard.
As they got older, their basketball futures took them to different places. Xavier to Grand Rapids Christian and then Michigan State University. Christian to Godwin Heights, then to Cornerstone. Even with the distance, the two remained close.
Once all three of us and both of us got back together, it was like, hey, we're still the same, and like no time is lost. We talk to each other every other day.
But when the two turned professional, that distance got even farther, around 4,000 miles farther.
No whistle. Held, knocked down. Tillman.
After graduating, Xavier would head to the NBA and even win a championship with the Boston Celtics. Christian would head overseas and play professionally in Europe. The game they love can give so much good, but at the same time, cause immense hardship.
But in Austria, I ended up breaking my ankle right after the new year, and it kind of set me back a little. I came back home, and that's when I got back with X.
Back in the U.S., the Celtics could not find a spot for Xavier in their rotation. He sat more than he played in 2025.
Once I played at the beginning of the year for like the first 2 weeks, but after that, I really didn't see the court a lot.
The two faced that adversity the only way they knew how, finding a gym and getting work in together.
I got the text from him saying he was coming home. And me being a friend of his who was, one of his biggest fans, I was like, okay, well, let's not sit around. Like, come out here and let's train and let's prepare. And I was kind of like, this was a really good workout. And he was like, oh, thanks, bro. And I called my mom. Later that day, and I was like, Mom, like, I think I really want him to like train me. She was like, well, if you know what you want, like, do it. And so, I asked him, hey, can you be my trainer? And he was like, what does that entail? And I was like, I'm gonna need you to stay with me.
It was a no-brainer for Christian, as he and his family moved to Boston so he could train Tillman full-time. Christian knows what's best for Xavier if he wants to meet his goal of an additional 5 to 10 years in the association, pushing him to the limit. With his front row seat, Christian predicts something that the Celtics will find out in due time. Tillman will be a big part of Boston's future.
Being able to see the amount of work that's put behind the scenes, and then when it's time to come to the game and it happens, because it's going to happen when he gets out there, it's going to be like, wow, all right, you did it. Now you still got to do some more.
In Byron Center, Ryan Canfield, News 8.